footballer, the way he scored his goals, the way he brings people into play. I'd have to say that Dennis Bergkamp, one of the best players to play in the Premiership.
He can read the game and he can cut out a ball or see a ball 5 or 6 seconds before other people can, maybe, you know.
I think he truly is one of the best foreign imports that the Premiership has ever seen.
Maybe we can sign somebody like him in the future, you know, because that is something you can be proud of as a club.
He's that sort of player that enhances the young English players that he's been playing in front of for the last 11 years, and he'll be sorely missed. Great player.
Testimonials, John, are wonderful things when you can get Spurs players and their managers saying great things about an Arsenal player.
Well, I just said what a happy atmosphere, you know, it's a festival, a carnival, everyone's smiling, everyone's cheering everyone, and that reception that Edgar Davids just got now because he plays the pub. That's what football's all about. We always have to have a little bit of animosity.
Well, that's it. We did interview some Spurs fans about what they thought about Bergkamp, but it was all just a series of bleeps, so we thought we wouldn't bother running that. Now, we've been watching all the players be introduced that are playing in this second half, the legends, the Ajax players, the Dutch players and the Arsenal players, and it literally is going to be sensational. It doesn't even matter if they do anything.
Well, we just see, look at Frank Rijkaard coming out, what a legend he is, not just in terms of playing for AC Milan, but of course Barcelona, being with Barcelona and the Champions League. It's a great occasion, and it shows his stature that Dennis Bergkamp is held in, that these people, but as much as they come here for Dennis, with a stadium like this, it's just a wonderful to be part of it as a player. I'd say before you do, they still look fit, they look like they could run around. Maybe I'm a little bit heavy, so it's not for me, but I would love to have been a part of this.
John, listen, we don't have any footage of some of the matches you played in last year. You were too hot for our cameras. So as far as the second half goes, Bergkamp's obviously going to come on. It would be a fairy tale, wouldn't it, if he could score a goal here at the Emirates Stadium?
Well, David Seaman, once again, there you go, the biggest chair, but it's all about Dennis Bergkamp. But coming on in the second half, I would expect him to score because he's playing against players older than himself. It's going to be much slower, and I'm sure that someone will be kind to him, and Dennis will. Someone will go down for a penalty if he doesn't score, believe me.
Well, even Johan Cruyff full of problems, scoring against safe hands. David Seaman's just come in there, rapture, I suppose. We're really going to test if this roof is on the new stadium properly as the Arsenal legends are introduced.
Well, there's Lee Dixon, I can hear the response. And I was speaking to Arsene Wenger earlier, and he said that the way it's actually designed is to enhance the acoustics. Now, when people say that, they say we built the stadium to enhance the acoustics, you think, oh yeah, that's just a line. But apparently they've been so methodical in building the stadium that it really does sound as if there's speakers here.
Well, if the acoustics are improved, we'll maybe see if you two want to come and do a couple of gigs here in the next tour. Winter burns on, he means business. Yeah, he's already been warmed up with Channel 5 in the first half.
Well, he warmed up his mouth, that's for sure, being the co-commentator. But once again, they're legends. I mean, you know, all of these Arsenal players deserve to be a part of this occasion.
And the triumphant return of Patrick Vieira. And right now, John, I cannot hear a thing over the cheer of this crowd here at the Emirates Stadium. A true favourite of recent times of these fans, as much as Dennis himself.
Well, it is a double celebration. It's obviously Dennis Bergkamp's testimonial, but it's obviously the first game at a new stadium, and I'm sure that a lot of these players would have just liked to have held on a little bit longer to be able to play this week in, week out, because, you know, the football that Arsenal play in a pitch like this, in a stadium like this, they are the most attractive team in England, and, you know, it is fitting that they have a stadium like this.
And listen, maybe Vieira getting a taste of this new stadium. I mean, maybe he'll change his mind, maybe he'll pack his bags up and come and play another couple of seasons.
Well, a lot of Juventus players are going now with what's happened to them, and what a fairy tale that would be if we were to see Patrick Vieira. I'm sure the fans would have, but I'm sure Arsene Wenger would love it, but who knows.
Okay, well listen, it's very exciting indeed because these players get introduced at the moment. Arsenal are 1-0 down, not that the score matters at this stage, but it would be quite sensational if the first goal, for example, scored at the Emirates Stadium by an Arsenal player. Great pub quick question. It could be Ian Wright.
Well, I don't know, Wright hasn't come out yet, and I know that he'll be savouring. He would want to score, and if it's a question of, well, here he comes, you can see him. And if he goes through one-on-one with Dennis to his left, to slip him apart for Dennis to score on his day, Dennis has got no chance.
That's not
Dennis
going to
happen.
happen.
No chance at all.
Absolutely. Ian Wright won't pass it unless it's absolutely imperative. If his life depends on it, maybe he'll pass the ball.
But, I mean, you can hear how deafening it is. It is unbelievable, and I am still convinced that they must have some speakers, because I know some clubs in Europe do that, to really get the atmosphere much better. There are speakers around, but I'm sure there's not. But as you can hear yourself, it is just completely deafening.
So how do you think, is yourself as a world-class professional, John, where does Dennis Bergkamp rank as he's being introduced again to this crowd in terms of players that you've seen and played with and played against? What level is Bergkamp at?
Well, when I was coming to speak to Dennis on Wednesday, I got a book sent to me called The Perfect Number 10s. I was very excited because being a number 10 myself, not that I expected, but I thought, have I made this list? Of course, I was nowhere near. But Dennis Bergkamp was there alongside Puskás, Pelé, Mazzola from Italy, Maradona, Platini, and there may be 2 or 3 others. But to be even classed with those players, and you can see as well, you look at the turnout of the people like Frank Rijkaard and Johan Cruyff. I mean, he's just been fantastic over the years, a real professional.
It's absolutely a list of names you've just read of number 10s. To put him in that company tells us everything we need to know about why, for a testimonial match, one man can sell out a stadium of this size.
Well, particularly in this day and age, because in this day and age it's hard to be a creative player. And Dennis, over the years, has done it week in, week out. He's now 36, 37 years old. So it's a fantastic that this occasion has been given to him, because, you know, the opening of a stadium, for a testimonial to be granted on the opening of a stadium like this, you have to be a special person.
And it's also a personal day for Dennis Bergkamp. He's got his family here. We've seen his father doing an honorary kick-off at the start, and that's very special, because he is respected not only for being a great footballer, but he's not a big-time Charlie. He isn't out embarrassing himself at various London clubs like so many other players who aren't role models in the modern game. He truly is. He truly is that.
Well, you also saw his wife and 4 children coming out, and of course in testimonials everybody brings their wives and children out. But if ever there was a real family man, although you may not hear me now because the king himself has just come out, Thierry Henry, but if ever there was a real family man who lives that life, and his family deserve everything that... This is not just about Dennis, because this epitomises what, for me, a professional footballer should be, and the way he can actually lead his life. And he's got his just desserts. But I don't know, we saw Thierry going out there, and how important is it that he actually stayed? A stadium like this, okay, without Bergkamp and with Henry going as well, would have been a bit of a downer, but the fact that Thierry is here is fantastic.
Now, as somebody who stands in terraces, what I'm most excited about in this second half is just, it's a dream for the singers, because they're going to be able to sing Vieira's song and Henry's song and Bergkamp's song and Ian Wright's song. It really will be something special just from the terrace alone. We don't even need to show the match.
Well, you know, I've played in games when you have players older than themselves, much less able to run around a football field and perform than them, but the fans love it because they see their heroes. So when I played in old games, you know, there are players who can't even run around anymore, but they love it. Whereas these players are still, well, the majority of them are still playing. You've got Vieira, you've got Thierry Henry, but they're legends. So this game, I think the second half will be better because it's been more low-key. Yeah, whereas players will be able to express themselves. It's going to be fantastic. Whereas the first half was really a bit competitive, as you saw with some of the tackles. But I think there's going to be a lot of fantasy in the second half with the players out there.
Listen, Manu Batti's getting a good welcome here at the moment. He was with us just before the match started. He was telling me his knee's not really up to jinking in and out. He says he's just going to run and try and look pretty. He says there's absolutely no way he can do too much with his knee at the moment, but he still wants to be here for
as much as he can't do too much. There are a few carrying injuries, and you'll see right limping. But you know, if you had to go out there, you know, with a broken leg, just to be part of the occasion, you would. There's another boo coming. I don't know who. That's not for us, is it? Because there's somebody else coming out. I don't know who it is. But it's a fantastic occasion. And you say, Edu. That's surprising because, you know, Edu graced the stadium here at Arsenal. So it's surprising that he's not got too good a reception.
Well, listen, John Helm's obviously been watching along, and John, the first half was a bit of a nightmare for you looking at who's on the pitch, but you're not going to have any problems spotting Johan Cruyff, surely?
You're suggesting I'm too old for what happened in the first half. No, I'm not really going to have a problem with that. And the thought has just occurred to me, you know, there really is a tear in the eye of me and everybody here in the stadium. I think the atmosphere is absolutely electric, and every one of those players out there is a legend, and the word pure springs to mind. Yeah. There's pure enjoyment from the players, smiling, happy to see one another again, and Dennis Bergkamp has been a pure talent. I always remember David Pleat saying that he thinks pound for pound Dennis Bergkamp is the best foreign footballer there has ever been in this country over so many, many years. 11 years of total enjoyment he's given all these people, and isn't it great to see all the smiles?
Well, listen, we were saying earlier that the two Johns, there was a great headline in the back of that. It was the Daily Mirror the day after he signed for 13.5 million, and it was the chairman saying, we're absolutely mad, we've gone crazy paying this type of money. I mean, he's worth 4 times that amount if you think of what's been paid for other players since then.
Well, also he came at a time when it was difficult for foreign players in terms of the acceptance, in terms of the way that the game is played here, in terms of the passion, and really the aggression that was in the English game, because a lot of foreign players were afraid of that. Now Dennis didn't have a particularly good time in Inter Milan, and he said he was looking for a new challenge, and he would get a challenge here because of the physical nature of football. He's a technical player, and people thought, how would that work? But after the first 7 games when he scored his first goal, you saw what a talented player he was. I think Arsene Wenger coming actually helped him, because in his first year with Bruce Rioch, it was a bit of a transitional period for Arsenal. But it was really a marriage made in heaven when Arsene Wenger came, because they had the same vision on how to play the type of football that they both liked, and he really flourished under Arsene Wenger.
And also a quick word, John, for the Ajax fans who done most of the singing that has to be said in the first half. They've came here and their love for Dennis Bergkamp runs so deep as well, and they've been singing his name for the last hour.
Well, of course they're here to support their club, but he showed the esteem that he's held in Holland, because both teams, both sets of supporters are here to support Dennis Bergkamp. So it's been fantastic.
Well, what a day in a second half that no matter how many matches will be played in this Emirates Stadium will probably be unique until the year, maybe in 100 years from now, they tear it down. John Helm's going to talk you through it.
Yes, I am, and it is an absolutely fantastic occasion here. Wonderful, wonderful stadium, there's no doubt about that. And there's great admiration as well between these two clubs, between Arsenal and Ajax. They've met each other on so many occasions in big European matches, and the joy on the face of Ian Wright there, just to be a part of this, to come to the new stadium. He having graced the old Highbury Stadium. I saw him on the day he broke Cliff Bastin's goal-scoring record. And then when Thierry Henry came out and Patrick Vieira there came out, well, Wrighty was beaming from ear to ear simply to be a part of this. And you get the feeling that Ian Wright and Thierry Henry wouldn't have been a bad partnership. And that's what we're going to see now. It's quite nice if they played 15-a-side on this one. I think we had 15-a-side at some stages of that first half. And by the way, we're back to 0-0. The first game ended 1-0 to Ajax after 45 minutes. A goal by Huntelaar, the first goal ever scored in the Emirates Stadium. But this one starts again with a new match on here, because these are the legends. So it's Arsenal 0, Ajax 0 on the resumption. And everybody will say down the years, I was there. I was there on the day when Arsenal moved home. After 93 years, they only moved just up the road. But what a huge, major milestone in the career of Arsenal Football Club. And we've got a legendary referee as well for this one. Mario van der Ende, the most famous Dutch referee of all time, has been summoned to take charge. I don't think he'll have too many problems, actually, with these lads out here. Marco van Basten will be watching with interest. He was watching with interest the performance of some of the younger Ajax players, like Ryan Babel when he came on, for example, earlier. It's just a question of shuffling the pack here. I think we'll get quite a lot of substitutions again. But we're going to start with 11 against 11, as we should. Remarkable to think that it was Bruce Rioch, now the manager of Odense, who signed Dennis Bergkamp. It was 11 years ago, and Johan Cruyff there. I was rather hoping we might see him in the old shirt. You never know, we might do later. Well, there's good news from the UEFA Cup today, because Newcastle United, who had a bit of a problem after their first leg against Lillestrøm of Norway, they were 1-1 at St James's Park, but Newcastle have gone through. 3-0 was the score for the club from St James's Park, so that's good news for the English today. And we're underway in the match that the spectators here are going to love most out of the two, I'm sure. Not only did Arsenal lose the first game, Ajax had the audacity of scoring the first goal, but they've really come here to see the likes of Ian Wright as well as Dennis Bergkamp. As I said before, every single one of these players is a legend, including this man, Frank Rijkaard. They actually booed him when he came on, of course, because he led Barcelona to the triumph of the Champions League final against Arsenal back in May. But then they cheered him, recognising what a great talent he's been throughout his career. And here he is now, Rijkaard, playing in an unfamiliar right-back position. Taking the ball from Wim Jonk, who used to be Dennis Bergkamp's midfield partner in his early days at Ajax. Sheffield Wednesday supporters will remember Wim Jonk. Here is Henry. He might be a bit quick for some of them out there. One or two whose midriffs have broadened, should we say. Not Ray Parlour, of course. He's still very much a full-time professional at Middlesbrough. Lee Dixon. Parlour will ping it through to Henry. Bides his time, and then might put his foot on the pedal. It is Thierry Henry as Arsenal look for the first goal here, as it's just shuffled back to Edwin van der Sar. True Ajax legend as well as Dutch legend. Van der Sar, the goalkeeper, by the way, who at the World Cup finals broke the Dutch appearance record, overtaking Frank de Boer. Stefan Pettersson, 43 years of age now, the former Swedish international. Now Brian Roy, remember him at Nottingham Forest. Frank de Boer. Every one of them comfortable on the ball. That's one thing the old pros just never lose. Edgar Davids. Well, they boo him because he played for Tottenham Hotspur. A slight mistake at full back. And it's over the top. Seaman doesn't have to stretch. Aaron Winter just a bit too high. A lovely ball that was knocked across there, but it did just Jarman Overmars out. Good to see Mark Overmars again. He had an outstanding contribution in his Arsenal days, Overmars. 41 goals in 128 games. Pretty good ratio for a winger. And there he is. So Ian Wright having to wait his turn alongside Patrick Vieira, who's certainly smiling more than the last time I saw him in Berlin. And his team had just lost the World Cup final. And Wouters through to Edgar Davids, who's very left-footed. He can only stroke the ball to Rimondi for Arsenal. But all the crowd really wants is a Dennis Bergkamp goal. I've got a new co-commentator, Mr. Barnes has found his way up here. I bet you wish you were playing, don't you, John?
You've got to give me time to get my breath, John. I just walked 10 flights of stairs up, but of course, especially at this pace in the second half.
Yeah.
But just to go to show how important the game is, I mean, Thierry Henry has flown over on a private plane, landed this morning from his family holiday, and he's flying back tonight.
Is that right? Well, that is a fantastic story. You know, you hear so many bad things about footballers, but that's something that's occurred to me today. This is the good of the game. This is beautiful.
Yeah, and especially for a player like Dennis, you know, who's been a gentleman throughout, and he deserves it as much as anyone else.
Nigel Winterman, he's desperate to be the first Arsenal player to score here.
Well, I know for a fact that Ian Wright will be hoping for it to be 0-0 until he gets on.
It's Overmars. Petit. Oh, he could have allowed it to run through to Bergkamp. Oh, lovely to flick from Henry. His last game was in that World Cup final. Neil Petit. Saw him working for French television at the World Cup finals as well. Flowing locks again, Petit. Now Henry. Pops it across for Ray Parlour. De Boer doesn't bother challenging. I think we'd see too many meaty challenges going in, especially when Bergkamp's got a chance to score a goal. No,
not like there was in the first half. And it's a nice, gentle pace. It's a good game to play in. And, you know, the fans won't be disappointed that it's not going to be as frenetic as the first half. Because they understand. And, of course, they've got someone on there to boo. So that makes it even better.
Bit of a boo from Brian Roy, who trotted the ball. Brian Roy, I remember, had one fantastic season for Nottingham Forest in this country, and then they've never quite able to live up to that.
Well, they had a fantastic partnership, himself and Stan Collymore, that year at Forest, and they were electric. But he had a good upbringing at Ajax. You know, and any of the young Ajax players are good professionals and know how to adapt to different systems, different styles. So if you get an Ajax player, you know you're getting a consistent player. Steve Bold, he got a huge cheer when he came out.
Steve Bold these days is working with the under-19 team here at Arsenal. Martin Keown too, he's involved.
Continuation is very important, not just, but if you look at the Ajax team, there's Frank de Boer who's there, Brian Roy's working there at Ajax, and Aaron Winter, so they're all there working at Ajax.
Wim Jonk for Ronald de Boer. Bergkamp will keep this in. Henry looks and says, give me the ball, but now it goes to Ray Parlour instead. Then to Lee Dixon. They're building nicely with Edu. What a good player he was here, the Brazilian as well. Overmars with that familiar jinking. Still looks fit enough, doesn't he? But the pullback will be met by Frank Rijkaard. But Overmars looked very, very sharp, really.
He is very sharp. He's not too sharp getting back. I think he can run in one direction now. But yeah, that was his strength, his pace. But here you have a man on the ball who was absolutely superb, Frank Rijkaard.
Davids, and Henry realises and comes racing back as Davids was through there. The cut back is met by Grimondi, and then bowled calmly away. Bit of a confusion there, probably because they're both wearing number 17, Edu and Petit.
Well, they had better combination when they were both playing, but you can tell that Manu just wanted to be a part of it. And he's got a bad knee, but he wants to be a part of it.
The shot was from Roy. He didn't used to smile when he missed before. Before to smile in a testimonial.
Well, in these games, they really are fantastic. Particularly as the ones I played them, I'm maybe a little bit older than most of them and a bit much more unfit. So it's much slower. But when you have a nice slow tempo, it's great to be playing when you know you're not going to get kicked, and it's a great occasion.
You hope you're not going to get kicked. Now they'll roar again when Patrick Vieira comes in. He was one of the most popular players there's ever been, I think, here with Arsenal. Fantastic service he gave the club over 9 years. This man 11 years, Bergkamp. Sits the heel of Petit, but breaks for Henry.
His knee looks fine to me, man, with Petit running down.
Overmars. Remember him scoring in the FA Cup final, Mark Overmars at Wembley. Waits for the Winterburn run, and now the Winterburn cross, and it's plucked out of the air. Those are easy for a man like Edwin van der Sar. One of Manchester United's best signings in recent years, I would think.
Yeah, and late on in his career, and people question the wisdom of that because he's getting on, but he was one of their most consistent performers. Just a note about Patrick Vieira you mentioned there. If you look what's happening at Juventus with so many of their players leaving, would it be inconceivable that he actually comes back to Arsenal?
Well, I was hoping they might do it on the pitch today. That would have been a nice story. Anyway, it's great to be here for 5, covering this big, big day in the history of Arsenal Football Club. Only their 6th home in 120 years. Ronald de Boer. And again, that was a Nigel Winterburn of old.
Well, I think Nigel Winterburn and Steve Ball, Lee Dixon, all habits die hard. But you talk about the home, and I think it's important that in this day and age when you have new football stadiums being built on the outskirts of cities, while I am a fan of that because of the logistics of getting to the stadium, it's important that they stay in the area, and they have stayed in the area.
Edu off. Played about 10 minutes, and Patrick Vieira will come on. Much to the delight of the big crowd here in the 60,000-seater stadium. Not full to capacity today, but still a very, very big crowd. It was funny enough, when Arsenal started, they were known as Dial Square. That was the original name, not you. And you didn't even know that, did you, John?
Dial Square.
Dial Square was the first name of Arsenal before they became Royal Arsenal, then Woolwich Arsenal.
But Dial Square.
And they played at a place called the Sportsman Ground, which was a former pig farm next to Plumstead Marshes. Well, this is a bit different to Plumstead Marshes, isn't it?
Well, they were a South London club, but there are too many clubs down there.
Oh, Bergkamp, there you are. That's what they've come to see. 2 divine touches from Dennis. And now he'll whack it crossfield. But I don't think it'll produce a goal this time. Every time for Aaron Winter. Then stylish player. He passed his best when he came to Sheffield Wednesday, really.
Yes, I mean, he was a very good player. Not particularly athletic, but he was a good passer, good organizer, good technique. And as you can see with a lot of the players, when you get to this stage in your career, you know what you want to do, but your body can't do it. So you see some passes going misplaced, but the apprehension and the anticipation that these players have.
Henry's going to score! Thierry Henry! And how appropriate is that? The greatest name of the modern Arsenal gets the first goal for Arsenal in the brand new Emirates Stadium.
He can fly back home happily now.
You always knew he was going to score once the ball got anywhere near him, didn't you?
He was a clinical finisher. And, it is appropriate that there's so many players who could have scored the first goal. Bergkamp scored his testimonial, Ian Wright, but only has stayed, which really has given Arsenal a lot of hope, and it's a great finish.
And they'd have booed Edwin van der Sar if he'd stopped it.
But he held Aaron Winter off and clinically put it underneath him. Great finish.
It comes so easy for Thierry Henry. So Arsenal have christened their new home, and I say it is so fitting that their record goal scorer is the man who gets that goal. All the fans want now is for Ian Wright to come on and get one as well.
And also a bit for Dennis as well. But I do believe it's fitting that Thierry has scored because had he gone, it would have been a disaster for Arsenal. So him staying and scoring the first goal makes everybody happy.
Massive boost for English football as a whole, I think, for the Premiership that Thierry Henry is still going to be here. Jaap Stam. He's still fit enough, he's going to play the whole match. Jonk.
Well, he's gone back to a young Ajax side, and he will be their leader, because they're a very young team, and to bring somebody like him, I don't think the Arsenal fans will be happy with Thierry Henry Patrick Vieira getting none-back by Davids. Had that been a league game, I think there'd have been some retribution.
I think there might well have been. There might have been a card. Here is Davids again. Doesn't get it beyond Vieira though. And now Vieira takes him on. Edgar Davids means business.
Well, he knows one way to play football, Edgar. And Ronald de Boer still playing in Qatar, so he should be quite fit.
Frank de Boer had such a distinguished career at Barcelona as well, of course. Backed by Petit to Grimondis, the French connection. And then David Seaman, who's always been probably the most popular goalkeeper here, along with Bob Wilson, who introduced him to the crowd. That was great. Bob Wilson, one of the real gentlemen of the game.
Lee Dixon to Dave Seaman to Nigel Winterburn. How many times have we seen that?
Here he goes. It is Bergkamp. And effortlessly pops it across here into the path of Parla. Interception by de Boer. Well, it's one of those days when anything can happen, and I can assure you that there are going to be a couple of surprises still to come in this match. Surprises even to Dennis Bergkamp, the beneficiary. This is Vieira. Henry. And he's showboating now. Hold to Grimondis. Calling for the ball far side is Overmars. Look at that, what a ball it was as well, and it's Overmars on his way, goes for goal, and Van der Sar just grabs the ball as it comes straight at him.
Well, that's turning back the clock. A fantastic ball out by Grimondis, and taking it first time, as you can see, Overmars inside Aaron Winter, and that's not going to trouble Van der Sar. Oh.
Henry. Such a shame for the French in that World Cup final that Henry had gone off before Zidane got sent off, of course, and Vieira was off 3 of the potential penalty takers. That was such a crucial 10-minute spell in that World Cup final when all 3 went off.
Yes, it was, but I mean, France did very well. I mean, both sides, but France particularly, nothing was expected of them. To get to the World Cup final shows the quality that they have.
You're instinctively where Lee Dixon would be. Well, Lee Dixon was a classic example of somebody who made the best of his career, having started at the lower reaches of the league at Bury and Stoke City.
So has Nigel Winterburn and Steve Bold, at Stoke and Wimbledon, which shows that, you don't have to be the best players in the world. If you've got intelligence, as they all have, and they can work as a unit, and of course the Arsenal back 5, including David Seaman, was fantastic. Individually, you could say they may be better players, but as a unit, there was no one better in Europe.
Overmars will cross it. That's straight onto Rijkaard's head, and it's straight back out for Winterby. Shoot, they were shouting at him. Roll back to Vieira. Typical Arsenal football. The fourth
Apart from that. Well, interestingly, speaking to Dennis Bergkamp, he said that when Arsene Wenger came, as much as he's a continental coach and he's come from France and the way that they actually want to play football, he felt that the most important thing was to keep the Arsenal back 5 together, regardless of the flair of Overmars and Henry and people like that. Bergkamp, he says the most important thing for him to do would be to keep that back 5.
Yeah, what a back 5 it was. Anyway, it's Ajax going forward in the shape of Frank de Boer and then Edgar Davids. Now the man who is part of the training setup these days at Ajax, Groenendijk, who had a spell at Manchester City. Here he is, Groenendijk. Pettersson. crowd approved of that, went to be winning it. Parler giving it, and Henry on his way with Bergkamp across the middle and Overmars yelling for the pass again. It will be Bergkamp. Taking on his old Pan Rijkaard. The cross is clever, delicate, and Overmars might just have committed a foul here. And a foul on Alan Winter. Groenendijk once again, and Davids just had the one season at White Hart Lane so far. And well, Patrick Vieira seemed to have fouled De Boer. Free kick given. Groenendijk. Ajax a goal adrift. Well, we've been hearing from people about the text messages from Spencer in Hornsey. Well done, Arsenal. Fantastic stadium, you're right there. Emirates is finished. Look at the builders who worked on the Gunners' new stadium. Can lend a hand. Shambles at Wembley. Well, I did allude to that in the first half, saying how come Arsenal can do it in 2 years and they can't get Wembley ready in 4 or 5, it would seem. Parler now. Several Ajax shirts thrown back behind the ball. So it is Bergkamp. Push and run. Henry. So looking to feed Lee Dixon in that time.
A few minutes ago, John, just before the text message, we saw classic Arsenal whereby they were playing the ball around on the edge of the Arsenal's box, and when the ball got played through, all 4 of them stepped up with a hand in the air. How often have we seen that?
Yeah, the Tony Adams, the Steve Bull manoeuvre. I'm sure you fell victim to it yourself once or twice. Bergkamp with the skill. He's got Vieira alongside. It's standing to beams. Pettersson. The race through the middle is with Edgar Davids, and he'll chip the keeper and will go and score here. Oh, he won't. Was he tripped? Is referee Van der Ende going to give a penalty? I don't think he's going to book Davids, is he?
Well, Grimaldi brought him down. Can't let a Tottenham player score.
Absolutely not. I don't think that was on the script, was it? Edgar Davids seemed a certain scorer there. Grimaldi made sure he didn't, but they don't mind if De Boer comes up and takes a penalty. Referee Van der Ende is Dutch after all. So Ajax have the chance to equalise here. Well,
this is political correctness.
Thank you. He didn't have the audacity. Well, Ronald De Boer spoons it over the top of the bar. Seaman was almost on the deck, happy. It's very rare you see a penalty miss and everybody smiling and having a good laugh about it. But it really doesn't matter today. I once saw Frank De Boer miss a penalty that was very crucial.
Yes, and I wasn't sure whether Ronald actually took one in the game. You would know better than I.
The European Championship semi-final. Holland it was.
Obviously was the wrong De Boer because Frank is a penalty taker. But
yes, he is, but they got the wrong one there, didn't they?
But I don't think Frank can make it that far up the field these days.
This is Ronald again. He's going to try and make up now for that miss. Taking on Steve Bould. Vieira takes it away rather easily from Brian Roy. Arsenal 1, Ajax 0. 25 minutes to go. 25 minutes of this man's testimonial match, Dennis Bergkamp. And by the way, all those people who say about the money that the footballers earn, a considerable proportion of the money raised today is going to 4 charities.
Well, you find that generally in testimonials these days. Now Quinn did the same thing. They make a lot of money, and they do give back. And it's fitting that although it's a fantastic occasion, 60,000 that money has gone to charity.
Yeah, Gary Kelly was another who did that. And there's going to be a triple substitution, which will bring another huge roar of acclaim because Ian Wright's about to come on. Parler with a cross. Can they find a second here, Arsenal? Henry with time on his side. Goes for the spectacular. Juggles. Tries to give it to Bergkamp to do the honours. And again, Edgar Davids is booed. He's used to it. He's had that every match he's ever played, I would think.
That won't bother Edgar. His own teammates boo him sometimes, but it doesn't bother him. He knows one way to play, and he's a wholehearted competitor. That won't faze him one iota.
Grimond. And thankfully Yapstam held off his old mate Bergkamp there, but Henry will take everybody on. And Winterburn.
I saw Nigel saw glory there with a left foot volley into the top corner. He knows better, he's getting back now.
He's got his breath back. He's playing as if former is Nigel Winterburn. He's in the penalty area there, which is not his normal position by any means. Davids, known as Pitbull, I wonder why. He's full of running, isn't he?
And so is Manu Petit, he's supposed to have a bad knee.
Yeah. Well, come on, Dennis, give us what we want. Give us what we want. Dennis Bergkamp. I don't think he's going to let that one in. That would have been embarrassing for Van der Sar.
Great skills, good feed by Dennis, but a little toe poke at the end. Wasn't quite enough.
Keep watching our text messages as they flash through. He's such a popular man, Bergkamp. Everybody's got something to say about him. Fabulous, inspiring. I would agree with that. Legend. Nigel Winterburn was saying the word legend is used too freely. But not for these people in the case of this Dutchman. Will there ever be... Yes, there will be another one like him, I suppose, because every era produces great players.
Yes, but for someone to come to a club, particularly from a different country, and to stay there for 10 years, I don't think that will ever happen again.
Well, Parler's not happy about that decision. It's going to be a quadruple Arsenal substitution. Takes a bit of saying. Van Bronckhorst and Oleg Luzhny. In fact, Alex Manning is going to get a run as well. We're not going to see David Seaman again. But John, as a former player yourself, how much will it mean to people like David Seaman here and Ray Parler to have actually played in a day of such great history?
Well, once again, Dennis Bergkamp's testimonial and also the opening of the new stadium. It's fantastic to be here and a part of it. And there are other Arsenal players who would love to have been a part of it. And you have Oleg Luzhny coming on, and players who've come from far and wide to be part of it. And it's a tremendous honour for all of them. And the right thing to do is to give as many as possible an opportunity.
Look at that young man. It means so much to him, doesn't it? I don't think he was born when Ian Wright was playing. He's the most exuberant of characters.
He was, and Henry has come and taken over the mantle from Ian Wright, but they always have a hero, and Bergkamp, of course, did it for 10 years, and Henry will do it from time to come. But the man on the field now, you can hear the fans cheering for Ian Wright, really for me is Mr. Arsenal, because he's English for one, and he embodies the spirit of Arsenal, and even now you hear them singing Ian Wright, Wright, Wright. He's as important as left foot shot just went wide. He's as important as Bergkamp and Henry.
7 years here. 7 years, 185 goals, and another legend, Martin Keown, is down with Colin. Colin?
Now, Martin, it's quite a measure of the extent of Dennis Bergkamp's respect he has in the game that you can't even play and you've still kitted up.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to show my respects, just recovering from an operation. So, yeah, I would love to have got out there. Great atmosphere today. Fantastic player Dennis was at this football club, and he's got a very fitting response to that, today's turnout.
I tell you what, it must be amazing to hear your name, beamed out again by the Arsenal massive.
Yeah, they're great fans, and they certainly gave me that extra bit, that probably an extra 10% to my game. And the same with Dennis. When he picks the ball up, the crowd still go quiet because they're expecting something special. Today's Dennis's first workout for probably 6 or 7 weeks, so he's still showing flashes with touches, but I'm sure he's pretty tired at the moment.
Well, let's hope he gets his goal. If the Ajax defence need to wake it up and just let him have a goal, the keeper maybe fumble it by accident or something like that would do.
Well, these are very proud professionals that he's up against out there, and they're not going to give him anything for nothing. They know that Dennis, will punish them if they give him any opportunity.
So, well, listen, Martin, enjoy your day.
Thank you.
I thought that was a very interesting point, actually, that the supporters can actually add 10% to your game. Did you find that at Liverpool?
Yeah, to the team generally, of course, and you are part of the team, but when they get behind you, they do give you that lift. But if there's someone who didn't need that lift, it is Martin, because he's a real 100%er.
Well, there is a big surprise even for Dennis Bergkamp. There's going to be an appearance here for two of the great legends of the world game. Johan Cruyff, who I last saw play in this country 30 years ago for Barcelona, the most famous European footballer who's voted of all time, and Marco van Basten, current coach of the Dutch national side. Van Basten and Cruyff come on to pay their tribute personally to Dennis Bergkamp, and Bob Wilson there introducing them. I can't remember this happening before in this country, two players of this standing.
Well, John, you said that Nigel Winterburn said that the word legend is bandied around too much. These two who came on, particularly the first one, Johan Cruyff, is an absolute legend. And there's history between these three. Johan Cruyff gave Bergkamp his first start, and Bergkamp replaced Marco van Basten up front. So, you know, it's fitting that the three of them are on the pitch at the same time.
He's 59 years of age now, Cruyff. He's been voted the European Player of the Century. You can't have a greater accolade than that. And he also gave Dennis Bergkamp his debut when he was the manager of Ajax against Roda Kukradi back in 1986.
As a right winger when Van Basten played up front, and Dennis was saying that if you didn't put the ball in at the right time onto Van Basten's head, he would give you a mouthful. So I'm sure he's learnt a lot from those two.
But rather fittingly, Van Basten is wearing 9 and Cruyff is wearing the number 14. That seems familiar to me.
Well, if you thought if the game won't go slow with Johan Cruyff on the field, he'll be barking out orders left, right and centre, believe me. And it's already picked up if you look at it.
And Bergkamp. The word shame springs to mind. No shame attached, it's just a shame he didn't deliver.
Yeah, we want to see Dennis scoring, and the longer it goes on, he'll stay on. Hopefully he will.
It'll be a long day. It'll be an emotional day for Bergkamp. That was a raw Cruyff. He might walk through these closing minutes, might Johan Cruyff. I wouldn't.
He'll definitely talk through it, but you know, I mean, I've got the video of his life. I know, you know, alongside Pele and Maradona, you would have to say that he's in the top 3 players in the world of all time.
That's a fantastic tribute from John Barnes to Johan Cruyff. Now it's Wim Jonk. And the Dutch team of the 70s, of course, was absolutely magnificent. And here is Jonk now. There's a lovely classic touch. And produce a goal. And of course, Ajax were preeminent in winning the European Cup in 1971, 72 and 73. There goes Glenn Helder, the other Dutchman who, of course, was here when Dennis Bergkamp came to the club.
Yes, and he's still playing now in the lower divisions. As you can see, he's quite fit. But at Ajax team of 71, 72, 73, you know, Cruyff was the star, culminating the 74 World Cup final when they were the darlings of world football but didn't win. And that's when really the whole Ajax revolution with Rinus Michels and the era of Cruyff started.
Yeah, Cruyff, Neyskins, Van der Kerkhoffs. Now we've got the De Boers. We've got Thierry Henry. Look at this. Juggle. Oh, master craftsman. Might just supply a finish as well. Oh, he tried to play in writing. Very unselfish. Now then it's Cruyff. I don't think he's going to dash through the middle. Van Basten is a little younger, of course.
You know, it's strange. You saw Thierry Henry trying to pick out Ian Wright, and in some ways, no matter what younger players achieve and how good they are and their standing, when you have a mentor like Ian Wright was to Thierry Henry when he first came, you still look up to him, and I know that Thierry Henry still looks up to Ian Wright, no matter what he's achieved.
The word is respect, isn't it? And here is Van Basten. Oh, I thought he was good. Alex Manning has got his fingers on it before Frank Rijkaard can get a touch. I thought he was trying to recreate that goal in the European Championships.
Against England, I don't remember that one. But here I can see Tony Adams coming in, and he did the same thing to Tony Adams as he did to Steve Bowles, but fortunately Mandinga did what our goalkeeper at the time couldn't do.
Carnu, there might be a second goal here. It is Bergkamp. Just can't get his sights set, can he? Let's have a pop down below again. Colin, I think you've got David Seymour with you now.
I am with safe hands, and all he cares about today is the fact that he's got another clean sheet. The man's an animal. Have you enjoyed today?
It's been fantastic. It's just an absolute pleasure to play on this pitch. You know, I've only seen it once. This is my second time, and it's just fantastic to see the fans in here. And an absolute dream to play in Dennis's Testimonial against all these class players.
If you wouldn't want to be out there now, though, you wouldn't have the clean sheets. You know, Cruyff to play against Cruyff, to have Van Basten on there, you'd have to keep your eyes open.
Yeah, but my dream's still going, so they still haven't scored past me.
That's it. You can say that now. Oh yeah, play with Cruyff, never scored against me.
Exactly. You're going to know when to retire.
So today, as a goalkeeper, you might have a different view of number 10s like Dennis Bergkamp, because they're more likely to have sent a shiver up your spine to see what they could do to some goalkeepers. Football and terrorists.
Oh, no, that's it. No, Dennis is a quality number 10. Like you say, I've played against a few as well, but he's just great. It's a great day for him, and it's fantastic to see that all these players have taken their own time out and come to see the new stadium and playing Dennis's Testimonial. It's a great day, and it's just an absolute honour to be here.
And it's nice for yourself as an Arsenal legend that you have played in the Emirates Stadium.
That's right. I've flown back from Portugal. I've cut my holiday short, and I'm going back there actually. But I'd have come from the other side of the world to come and play here and play Dennis's day.
Well, listen, Ali and John, if ever there was something that symbolised the difference between football now and football a few years ago, Henry flew back from the USA. David Seaman flew the whole way back from Portugal.
Well, that's a telling comment. Well done, David Seaman, as well. I'm sure any of us would have done. Now Henry, he'll slip in right in here maybe. He's just waiting for the moment. Those Ajax players don't want to concede if they can help it.
I think the telltale sign, John, is that Thierry Henry can afford to charter his own private jet from America.
Yeah, but some nice tributes paid by so many people today. There's a race on here for De Boer, and it's Luzhnio wins the race. The man from Kiev. He's come all the way back from the Ukraine to play.
Yes, he has, and there's the great Johan Cruyff giving himself a free role. He's playing in every position. He started on the left, he's now in the middle.
He can do what he wants. This is Bergkamp. Stanley Menzo's in goal now, by the way. I always remember one fact about Stanley Menzo. He has a pilot's licence. Not many goalkeepers and not many footballers have pilot's licences, but Stanley Menzo does, the goalkeeper of Ajax.
Les Ferdinand, a helicopter pilot's licence, so not quite a plane, but Les is flying around in helicopters now and again.
You're full of information. Now then, Bergkamp, here we go. In goes Wright. It is Ian Wright! Side netting.
That is the second time Ian Wright has touched the ball, and it wouldn't bother him one bit if he scores and touches the ball twice in the game, and that's what real goal scorers are about. You can see he shrugs off Jaap Stam, who's a player still playing now for Ajax, obviously, and played at AC Milan, and that is the real stature of a true goal scorer.
185 goals, extraordinary, in just 288 games. Well, we're talking about great names here, and we're going to be with the great names over the next few days. Tomorrow we're at Parkhead, Celtic against Everton. We're on air at 1:45 there. Kick-off is at 2 o'clock for that one, Celtic and Everton. And we're back up at Parkhead again on Wednesday, or Celtic Park. Celtic against Manchester United. All coming up on 5. So the football season is well and truly underway. And following the football today, a double bill of NCIS. It's coming up after this, Arsenal against Ajax, but we're on for quite a few minutes after the game, just to stay with these legends of the game. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage here from the Emirates Stadium, which I've already been told one or two statistics. I knew you know, John, it's got 100 flights of stairs. I think you've just climbed them all.
I thought
and 900 toilets, just in case you get caught short on the way.
I thought it was 500 flights of stairs.
Seemed it. Kanu, and deflected and in. Oh, poor Stanley Menzo. Kanu's almost in tears. I think he wanted Dennis to get the goal, but it's Kanu's goal for Arsenal. They lead 2-0.
Yes, a cruel deflection for Stanley Menzo there, but the longer the game goes on, the more they'll be determined that Dennis scores, and they'll be passing to him at every opportunity to try and get him, apart from Ian Wright, that is, but everyone else would want Dennis to score.
I hope it didn't go in off Cruyff. No, it didn't. Cruyff couldn't have got back. It went in off Jaap Stam. That makes it even better for Arsenal followers.
Yes, it does. That's nearly. They'll forgive Dennis not scoring if Jaap Stam scores an own goal.
Poor Stanley Menzo. He's only been on 5 or 6 minutes and he's beaten. Now it is Henry and Kanu. their names in history.
I've just been watching the movement of Marco van Basten, and although he is 40 odd now, you can see he still has the movement and he knows exactly what he's doing.
Rijkaard's onside, and Davids is onside as well, and he's into the penalty area. He's not going to get another penalty. Mario van der Ende was almost embarrassed to give that spot kick, wasn't he? It was very kind of Ronnie de Boer to miss it. Now Ian Wright's holding his position here. Henry, he's got Wright ahead. He's also got Bergkamp ahead. It is Dennis Bergkamp here at the Emirates Stadium, and Stanley Menzo is a spoil sport. Not meant to be, sir. Yeah, sorry, sir.
Dennis is a player who's had more composure, technique and calmness than any player probably in history. But it shows how important this is on the occasion, that he's fluffing his lines a little bit at the vital moment.
It's been Dennis Bergkamp's day. He is going to go down as one of the great players in the history of one of the greatest clubs in the world over the years. The Cliff Bastins, the Ian Wrights and the Dennis Bergkamps in modern times. Okay, we talk about that great defence of Dixon and Bold and Winterburn and Adams, but Dennis Bergkamp has graced the English game over 11 years. Over 423 appearances, 120 goals and 10 honours he won for this club. And at the age of 37, Arsenal says goodbye to a favourite son.
And he's also an Ajax legend. The Ajax fans were cheering him. You can see how much it means to the Ajax players to be here to play for him. And he's a true gentleman. And I think that's the best thing anyone can say about Dennis Bergkamp.
And it's been a great family day. It's been welcome to the Emirates Stadium as we say farewell to Dennis Bergkamp. We're going to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be back. There's plenty to come.